know every now and again I gotta do a morning one. What up, people? It's your boy Chid from Gooney Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time, once again, it is Eagle Eye, the transfer rumor show where I talk to you about rumors and news surrounding the Arsenal. Now, all of those that, for all of those of you that keep bitching about the fact that my camera's not on, due to the fact that my hair is an absolute mess. I'm hoping to be able to do something about that this weekend. So watch this space. The return of the camera could be imminent. So keep an eye out for that. All right. In the meantime, I figured I'd do a quick show. It's been a while um, since I've done a show. Um, and yeah, no real excuses for it other than I've been hoping to have had a haircut before now so that I could have done a proper, clean show for you guys. But Ragga, let's do one of these shows, and I'll give you my thoughts on some of the signings and some of the people that we've been linked to over the course of the past week or so. So let's strap in and let's get going. And let's start off with the biggest story of the week, and that is Mr. Emile Bundia, the Norwich midfielder. I wonder, do I have a picture of him? Because that would look better, especially if I don't have my camera on. I'll look better, at least showing me a picture of him and not looking like some sort of schmo. But anyway, Amy Buendia, the Norwich midfielder, 24 years old, and there's no doubt the man has had a talented season. I mean, he's had a bunch of goals, a bunch of assists. There are some people that rate him. There are some people that unbelievably don't. I think for me personally, um, yes, granted, a lot of this is at championship level. So the argument could be made that, oh, well, it's at championship level. How good could he really be? What I will say is this: if you have the ability to be able to find the goal and a nail, you have something about you. I would suggest, I've heard him compared to Santi Cazorla. I think that is a high pedestal to put him on. I would say, hold up, let's pump the brakes. I could kind of see, I could kind of see the comparison in the sense that BUND is not particularly quick, but he looks too fitted to me. I'm predominantly right-footed, but he looks more or less two-footed to me. He has very good ball control. Um, Seems confident passing in or outside of the foot, which I like. He looks like a very, very confident player. Then again, name me an Argentine player that ain't a confident player. Do you know what I mean? That's what they do. But name me a South American player that ain't confident. That is just what they do. He seems to have good control of the ball. His teammates clearly anticipate what he's going to do most times. Um, And as a result of that, they'll make the move for him. They'll either move to the side for him. They'll make the option for him. And ultimately, this is all about improving the goals that we get from midfield. We've suffered this season from goals and lack thereof. Yes, we've suffered from goals conceded as well, but we have suffered from goals. So I think it is important that we are looking at areas where we can improve. We can improve uh, uh, the kind of contribution that we get. Um, I think the debate is where would we play him? Now that is obviously my worry because I don't really want anything necessarily upsetting the Saka and Pepe development, particularly with Pepe. I think we're finally starting to see Pepe move into towards top gear of what he can actually do. And obviously with Bundia, he is someone who typically plays on kind of towards the right hand side of the midfield. He can play in the middle. I think his game is perfectly suited to playing in the middle because he can kind of whip a ball inside. He can whip a ball outside. He can dictate play. He's very, very confident. I've got a picture of him up there. You can put you can dictate play. He's very good at doing what he's doing. Takes a decent penalty as well. Um, for 30 million, it's a little more than I would want to spend for him. You know, in an ideal world, I wouldn't want to pay more than 25 million for him. But you know, you can understand if you're Norwich, especially you're just coming into the Premier League, your best player now suddenly wants to bounce. Cool, you better give us top dollar. When they started quoting 40, I must admit, I think that's too much. Just like, mind you, I think 40 million is too much for Odegaard, which was what was being quoted for Odegaard prior to um, Carlo Ancelotti joining Real Madrid. So I think for 30 million, if you can get him, supposedly all the noises from his camp is that he's very interested in an Arsenal move. Um, Obviously, Arsenal being a big club. Yes, we're not in Europe, but we still have that kind of big club cachet. So he'd be very keen on joining us. I'd be very interested to know what you guys think. You know, I must admit I've kind of kept out of the loop of YouTube recently these days, so I don't actually know what some of you guys actually think in terms of Bundia. I know that some of you rate him. I know that Lee absolutely cannot stand the links towards him. I think as far as Lee goes, Lee thinks he's an okay player, but thinks he's overhyped. I think that's where he stands with it. But we know that Lee don't know midfielders, so so that's probably a good sign. Ah, well, yeah. So I would say for me, um, I'm intrigued by him. I'm intrigued enough that for 30 million, it's a little more than I would spend, but I'd give it a go because we need creativity. He can show he's shown he could create an excessive amount of chances. Um, he's played in the Premier League before. I say let's just go for it and see what happens. The worst he can turn out to be is a genie Wijnaldum, and I think if he turns out to be a genie for us, I think I don't think that's a bad purchase for 30 million. So let's see what happens. What do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. So then I was looking at stories, and then they were talking about the most important signing of the summer, but it wasn't a player. No, it wasn't a player. It was this man. Maybe some of you have heard of him. Maybe some of you have not heard of him. I happen to have heard of him, but I must admit, I'm not a front like I've heard of him for a long period of time. I heard of him very recently, and that is Mr. Luis Campos. The only reason I heard of him recently is because um, I can't remember. I think they were talking about um, transfer gurus generally speaking. Because I think we were talking about the fact that Arsenal went down the kind of transfer guru route a couple of times. One of them failed to materialize, and the other we didn't really let do his thing. By the time we let him kind of put his imprint on the club, we never gave him the promotion that he was looking for. We got rid of him. And with this guy is set to be like the transfer guru genius. Like he's meant to be the guy who's behind most of the big, important European signings that you see today. Particularly why someone like Leo, for example, suddenly rose up last season and won the La Liga title because he's discovered all these players. Um, Players that are young players, players that supposedly is behind Mbappe, behind even Nicolas Pepe. You know, he's one of the main reasons how Leo, I think, secured Pepe for something in the region of 7 million and then sold him on for 72 million. Like, he's one of them guys. He's one of them guys that will secure players for cheap and sell them on for big, big profits. Um, we've needed one of them guys for a long time. Let's face it. When you look at the Leicester model, they are excellent at it. They are excellent at it. I'm actually surprised Leicester are not all over them because that seems to be the sort of move that they would do. So I feel like for me, this is the type of. But it does beg the question that if you bring this guy on as a sporting director, what exactly is Edu supposed to be doing then? Because now you brought on this Richard Killett guy who deals with the contract side of things. Then you brought in this guy who deals with the kind of sporting things that happen off the field in terms of the outside of the contract. So I suppose everything else. Kind of begs the question: what exactly is it that Edu is supposed to be doing? And that's why I think that the story was distanced, like kind of late last night, around in probably around 7, 8. Football London decided to kind of distance himself a little bit from the story, which they didn't flat out deny the story happened, but what they basically said was they kind of tried to play it off like, oh, maybe it might happen. The likelihood of it happening, who knows? They kind of tried to play it off like that. Maybe the people we haven't had the appropriate conversations with someone like Edu, and already we're trying to hire his replacement, which, to be fair, ain't a good look. So, yeah, I mean, for me, this is the type of move we should be making. This is exactly why Arsenal will probably not succeed in actually getting him. But this is the sort of move we should be making. These transfer gurus. I know people at the time when we lost. I forgot the name of that blonde geezer. Um, what is the name of the flipping first transfer guru we had? Captain, help me out here. What was the name of that first transfer guru that we had? The one that I was going on about, and people were like saying that I was overreacting, that it won't be a big deal. The German guy who's now at Stuttgart. I've forgotten his name. I've literally had a brain fart. Which I'm just gonna get Sven. There you go, Sven. He Mislintat. That's the one. He is right. So that guy, I remember banging on and on about how disappointed I was about that he was leaving and this, that, and the other. And I remember people, including Lee, were like taking a piss, saying that, oh, I don't know why people are getting so upset about the fact that essentially a scout has left the club, right? Look at our situation since then, right? Bet if you maybe put this past season that we just closed aside, look at our recruitment strategy since then. It's been piss poor. I think for me personally, that's why I love the Liverpool strategy. I love the Leicester strategy. Because even if you want to come out with, oh, well, Man United buy who they want, City buy who they want, cool. Explain Leicester, go. Explain Liverpool, go. These are just people that just do business properly. They buy low, they use their scouts. They don't sack every single one of who sacks every single one of their scouts. Oh, it's just such an Arsenal fucking thing to do. Sacks every single one of their scouts. Mind you, fine, sack all the scouts, but replace them. Replace them. Sacks every single one of their scouts, and then expects us to miraculously do something. Suddenly, we're going through some sort of agent. We're going through an agent hybrid model. Oh yeah, because that's a real good way of saving money. That just screams spending more money to me. Now they realize that shit don't work, so now they're trying to go back to the scouts method. So for me personally, if it starts with this guy who I sense would like a big project, and he ain't gonna get a much bigger project than Arsenal Football Club, and we just allow him to just do his thing, make his plans. This is a guy who's clearly experienced, clearly knows what the fuck he's doing. Just let him go about his business and build his team. It could be a very important signing, not just of the summer. It could be a good signing of the next 2 to 3 years. And by all intents and purposes, the guy he gets on with people. He knows what he's doing. He's very ruthless. He's very straightforward. All I hear are glowing reports from this guy. So I say, let's just go for it. These are the sorts of moves I want to see the club making, regardless of who owns us or who the manager is. These are the sort of moves we need to be making. Because that's the only way you're going to improve the quality of the squad. So I don't know what you guys think. For me, when I read the story, I only thought to myself, yes, but knowing Arsenal, this is probably the reasons why nothing will happen. I'm gonna lie. As soon as I read it, I was like, yeah, this is probably the reason why jack shit will happen. But what do you guys think? Again, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I think we're still waiting on seeing if Norwich has accepted that £30 million bid, by the way. Next story. Let's talk about Emile Smith Rowe. So I must admit, I didn't think I would need to talk too much about this story. Seems like I do. Emile Smith Rowe obviously has had a very good season, particularly since more or less Christmas. He's been playing very, very regularly. I think the key to Emile Smith Rowe's season this season, and obviously when I finally do my season review, which will be this weekend. I promise it will be this weekend. Um, um, Emile Smith Rowe, I've got a lot to talk about in terms of what I think about his season because he has impressed me. Um, he's had a very good season. He's adapted, but I think the key to his season has simply been that he's remained fit. He's remained fit. He's remained active. He's been playing football, and I think that has really aided him in his development. So he's had a good season. He's closed the season off well, and obviously we'll get to rest in the summer. But obviously it's contract time. He's got 2 years left of his deal. I should really change the picture, shouldn't I? He's got 2 years left of his deal, and what we're one. And now the question is whether or not he will be staying at the club or not. Now I must admit, I've always remained confident that I think Emile Smith Rowe. I think it's probably the worst kept secret that Emile Smith Rowe loves the club. He's always been a big Arsenal fan. Him and his family supposedly are Arsenal men, Arsenal men and women growing up in Croydon. So yeah, supposedly Villa are sniffing around. It's clear that Villa are looking for an attacking midfielder because they also matched our 30 million. I should have said that. They also matched our 30 million bid for Emile Bundia. So they're clearly looking for an attacking midfielder themselves. Maybe they're anticipating Jack Grealish leaves. You never know. I know Jack Grealish plays more on the left-hand side of things, but you never know. So yeah, it's interesting to see what happens here. There is a little worry that maybe he might be because obviously we expected this to have been wrapped up ages ago, and still nothing has been signed off yet. But there's some renewed belief this morning that Arsenal are fully confident that Emile Smith Rowe will be staying at the club, signing a new deal, and will snub the Villa approach. So for those of you who are worried about that, don't be. I fully expect that to conclude and for everything to be wrapped up and be okay about that. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Are you happy with Emile Smith Rowe? and his development at the club. I know that some people are not too fussed whether he leaves or not, which is interesting. But let me know what you guys think, and yeah, we'll have that discussion at some point this weekend. I want to at least try and have some shows with a camera on and have you guys feel like comfortable and confident with me. And yeah, let's reconnect in this bitch, shall we? Right, a couple more because I need to get back to work. I'm going to talk to you about this goalkeeper situation because I've had loads of people on my Insta ask me what I think about this young man. Onana, what's your name? Onana, what's your name? That's all that's going to be sung in the Emirates when he comes out. Andre Onana is 25 years old, Cameroonian international. What? Actually, that's a good point. Is he an international? I assume so. Um, Playing for Ajax, and this one's an interesting one because supposedly this is guy. I want to be honest, and I'll say this as a black person, right? I'll be honest. Typically speaking, you don't get a lot of, in my opinion, you don't get a lot of quality black goalkeepers. And I say that as a black person, and it's strictly my opinion. Strictly my opinion. Um, Actually, to be honest, Traore is by far and away the best one I've seen. Um, don't tell me. I mean, and anyone who doubts that, let's have a conversation. Hislop, Hislop, Traore, who else? Don't try it. All right. You know, we tend to like doing our talking further up the pitch. It's just what we do. It's not a bad thing. It is what it is. Um, Now in terms of Andre Onana, um, this guy's meant to be like hot shit. Like, he's meant to be really really good, very very good. He's meant to his shot stopping is clear. Very clearly very good reflexes. Um, very close quarters, very good in one-on-ones, tight spaces, long shots, commands his area pretty well. Um, in fact, at one point, I mean, they were really touting him to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They were really touting him very, very high. And then, and then, something happened. He happened to be done on some doping. Actually, specifically, I can relate to this because I'm actually taking the drug now that he got caught taking. He got caught taking something called Furicide. Now, Furicide or Furicide, Furicide. I don't know. I think I said it right the first time. Furicide is essentially a water tablet. It's a tablet that gets rid of excess water, salt, that type of thing. You tend to use it if you've got high blood pressure or if you've got a lot of excess water in a particular region. Now, anyone who knows what I've been dealing with recently, so I've been dealing with an injury for the last 2 months, and part of my issue, I need to be able to take Furicide. So it basically makes you piss a lot. Now, it's not necessarily a performance enhancing drug. What it would be very good at doing, like it's banned in boxing and UFC because if you're cutting weight, Furicide would be a wonderful drug to have because it's properly good for something like weight cutting. But obviously, for actually enhancing performance, it doesn't really do much. So I say all that to say he obviously made the appeal on that basis that he's taking Furicide. Genuinely, it was an accident that he took it. he took essentially his girlfriend's pills, thinking it was um, paracetamol, and it obviously turned out to be Furicide. It got flagged up, and that's how he got into the situation that he got into. Now, which I find hilarious, but because the size of paracetamol and Furicide is a tiny tablet, I don't know how you can confuse the two. But okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, um, so he ended up getting a year as a result of it, a year ban. Even though the board actually accepted his reasoning for the failure, he still ended up getting a year ban for it. And that was in February. Um, so subsequently, he's not been playing football since February. Now he's supposed to have had some sort of hearing, which basically determines whether or not he can reduce that year ban, which I'm anticipating it will slightly reduce. I don't think it'll reduce by much, but maybe by a couple of months here or there. Now, obviously, if it doesn't reduce, apparently it still won't put Arsenal off because the way they see it is that they're looking for a long-term replacement for Mr. Bernd Leno. Because obviously there's a lot of rumours about the fact that Bernd Leno wants to leave the club. He's played that down, but supposedly there's this gut feeling that he still wants to go, and actually the club would be quite open about him going because I think all of us are kind of like, you ain't that good anyway. Cool, no problem. So yeah, so there's this feeling that Onana would be the perfect replacement for him. We're also in talks with Matt Ryan as well about him staying at the club. So it looks like our goalkeeper situation could be sorted very, very quickly, very, very soon. Now, if we can get that reduced to the point where we can bring Onana in officially in January, then brilliant. But here's the problem with that. What happens in January? Oh, yes, it's the African Nations Cup. So yeah, we are a little screwed in terms of some of our options there in players and goalkeepers. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where this goes and how this develops. But yeah, we should know the results about the court hearing maybe in the next couple of days, and that will determine whether or not we could buy him. Considering at one point this guy was valued at like £30 million or £40 million, they're talking about him being potentially a cut price 7 million, which to me, if he is a £30 million player that we can get for 7 million, this is a no-brainer for me. Do what it takes, get it. This is the kind of thing. This is the kind of deals that we have to be just a bit clever about and shrewd about. So yeah, I'm all for it. Again, what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. And that's pretty much it for now, guys. I'm out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show, as brief as it was. Please do slap a like on the video. The likes, as I re-establish myself, them likes are important, guys. I need those likes. So I know I'm not as consistent as I used to be, but help me become that consistent. Show me the love. Show me how much I'm missed, and remind me why I have to continue doing those shows. Things like that are really good motivators. So if you can help me, that would be fantastic. Just drill that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll be back. I don't think there is going to be a podcast with Lee today. I think we're postponing that until Sunday. And I think I might be doing a brief combat show with the fellas later today. So who knows? I might be back on here later. You never know. Keep a lookout. The best way to do that is subscribe, hit that notification bell, and yeah, I'll keep you posted. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Take care. I'm out of here. Peace.